So this channel is completely dedicated to the mission of getting closer to God. And so this video is like an introduction to my channel of studying what is God and how do I get closer. This whole thing is in genuine pursuit of the truth, and so I'm very aware that I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing my understanding and my practices, and I definitely want to hear everything that you're thinking about as well, especially if you completely contradict me. So yeah, we're going to go through in this video what's already out there, so looking through religion, science, philosophy, looking at spirituality as a whole and where I stand on that, how I see us getting closer to God and further away from God, and then yeah, it's basically just like tell me what you want in the comments, man. I really want to find out some other people that are deep diving into this shit. So religion, I don't need to explain exactly what a religion is, but you can see in Christianity, Judaism, this Abrahamic God, and it's believed that he is the creator. In Christianity, you've got the Holy Trinity. It's this idea of God being separate for sure. You've got talks of being all knowing, all loving, all powerful, being the one that knows everything, that's omnipresent, and really talking and connecting with the people on earth, but it is definitely a separate entity. That's their sort of amalgamation of God. In Islam, it's seen that maybe God is something which is a lot more close to you, as we can see in this quote here. And it's not even in the sense of God being in the things that we can touch and being the creation, but also just like the thoughts that are going through our heads and everything in between. Like, this is Allah. Allah is with us at all times. He doesn't see themselves as a God. God is outside of them. Buddhism would say that it's inside of you. They wouldn't necessarily have a God per se, but maybe say that God is this removal of the outside world, of the physical world that we're in, and looking inside for all of your answers and finding that peace and serenity there, and describing that way of being as God. Science, I wanted to include here for so many reasons. So obviously you get religious people that are scientists. There's a lot of scientists that weren't religious and then turned religious the more they studied, and one of the reasons for that is because you could see God in the fine-tuning. The more that we learn in science, the more we see the intricacies of the Big Bang and how everything on this planet has developed so that we can possibly live here. It's just that surely someone's had to orchestrate that, and so the thing that's orchestrated it becomes God. And then I want to put this idea in here as well, that God, everyone is following a God. It's just what you worship. And a lot of scientists go into this area because they want to find the truth. And that is essentially what I believe all of these people are trying to do when they're trying to find God. They're trying to find what is this truth that is behind everything. So that's science. That's how they explore God. They could see it as sort of like a construct more, as opposed to this separate being or anything like that. In philosophy, they do their search through reasoning. And so this isn't finding God in the creations and nature and everything around us. This isn't by meticulously studying each of his works. It's about logically going back and trying to work out, would it make sense if there's a God here? That's a general premise of philosophy. And you can see here with Nietzsche, he talks about God dying. And this isn't he's talking about the Christian God, but it's not the Christian God that exists outside dying. He's referring to that God as an idea, as a construct, as this thing that has allowed people to act in a certain way and have certain values. That's why God exists, because it is getting people to change their actions like this. And he says that God dies. And then you've got Spinoza, who is a lot closer to what modern spirituality is saying, which we'll jump into in a second, which is that God is everything. God is the creator, God is the creation, and God is everything in between that space and everything around that space. God is absolutely everything. And so there's a lot of people that are all studying God, and it all seems to be true to them. And they all have a lot of evidence to back it up, and they all have a lot of people supporting the way that they think too over a long period of time. So why do all of these people in all of these different situations choose to chase God? And to be honest, it's a very interesting question, which maybe we can explore, but I'm not too interested in talking about these people that are generalizations and trying to assume things about them. That's one of the reasons for setting this up. I want people that are practicing and living this life themselves, all collaborating together so that we can work off actual truths, not things that we're assuming about people that we've heard about. I am personally on this path because I used to be depressed, and when I started doing this work, I feel more love than I ever have. I'm having physical success, I'm having spiritual success. I just know that there's a higher power out there, in the same way that if I said, oh, I love the sun, and someone said, how do you know you're loving it? I would just know, I'm just feeling love. I just feel this connection to a higher power. And so I feel like I want to get as close as I can to it. And finally, I kind of like the superpowers and shit that comes with it, you know, like having a much better understanding of the way everyone's moving, almost like your mind reading them, astral projection and all of that sort of stuff. Like, it feels like it makes the animes that I've ever watched like 10 times more interesting because you're seeing all of the hidden meanings and shit in it. So that's why I'm on this journey. And where I'm at on this journey now is this belief of omnism, that all of these practices and people that are trying to search for this truth, I think they're all correct. I think they're all correct. I think it's that idea of different doors to the same house. I think God is absolutely everything, full stop. God is everything. And we're trying to get close to this everything, which sounds mad, because if God is everything, including us and everything within and without of us, how the hell do we even have any separation from God? And we can see this through lots of different traditions and practices, etc., etc. I've chosen to focus on David Hawkins and the chakra systems, which talk about either being in a low state of consciousness and losing yourself in the world, and being more human than you are God, and losing yourself to that part of it. And chakras talk about being in and out of balance. And so when you're in balance, you are as close to God and this higher consciousness and this intuition that comes down from above. The map of consciousness, David Hawkins, he talks about these lower frequencies that will throw us off, like guilt and shame, and it will hold you back in the physical world. It will stop you from experiencing these higher frequencies, higher states of consciousness. It will disconnect you from God. It will put you in a place of force, which can get shit done in the physical world, but it always comes with a tax. That's why you see so many people like build a business, and then their heart's not in, and then they sort of throw it away, just like what I did, and a couple of my mates have done, and some of my clients have done as well. Like, it just seems to be such a common story for founders that have followed that path, made some money, and then they throw that business away because they want something which actually speaks to their soul. Yeah, this is what seems to create distance from God, and there always seems to be a lot of talk about vibrations and frequency, etc., which is included in all of these. So, how do I get closer to God? And first things first, this image was created by ChatGPT. So realistically, I would have, if I did it all artsy and artistic, I would have had this be like the yin yang sign, but split into 4. But I didn't. I just got ChatGPT to do it. So it's all about that balance, which, as you could see in the bottom right quarter, even Jesus is balance itself. That's how I think you get closer to God. I think God is the balance, like the Tao, the line you can't see, the thing that as soon as you try to name it, you can't. You've taken away from what it is. That is part of it, and obviously balance has to go in with the acceptance, self-awareness, personal relationship. It's all going to feed into each other. One big thing, I think that it's very important to have a personal relationship with God. I think there are some universal truths. I think there are things that we are working out and have known for quite some time and reawakening to. And I think we've got a lot more to find out too. I think we're like dipping our toes in these oceans. So I think having this personal relationship with God, because of the way your body reacts to the physical, because of the life that you were led to lead and the intuition that you'll get from this higher consciousness, I believe that you need to follow your own path. the way that I act on those universal truths are going to be different to the way someone else acts. Some people into sports, for example, some people into entertainment. They become a pop star or they become a movie star. But they were basically achieving the same thing spiritually. They just had their own twist on it. Self-awareness. This is like the idea that Jung was saying, like bring your shadow self into the light. The more you can see about yourself and the more you can show yourself you're safe to see that self and love that self, the closer I believe you get to God. God being love is a nice way to condense down this idea of how you get closer to God. And then acceptance. It's accepting everything, that you are in the perfect point in your life right now, things are going perfectly, that anything that's like negative that happens, it's not. We can just accept it. We are exactly where we need to be. We can live exactly how we need to be as a human. We can have these emotional reactions. We don't need to worry about going too hard or too soft because everything is okay. Everything's fine. And I think these flow in between each other, and I have different practices of how I establish these, like self-awareness, meditation, and trying to extend that silence as much as I can, trying to spot my reactions before I react to something, taking notes of those reactions, putting more awareness on it, where that comes from. Letting go practice for acceptance. Like there's so many different techniques, but that's the sort of meta of it. That's how I get closer to God. So interested to see what other people would bucket that into, because that was a cool thing to prepare for this video. I never really thought of it like this. So now I'm creating this channel and a community to connect people who are in the practice and pursuit of getting closer to God. I really don't care about any of your beliefs in terms of like judging them or seeing them as wrong. I think it's important to have things that I don't agree with in there, like for sure, because I know I'm not going to be right about everything. In fact, the level that we're at right now, we're probably right about absolutely nothing. We're just getting a little bit closer. So the people that are on that sort of journey, hit me up. I want to speak to you. Running online events, running like walks and little free meetups like that, doing some dinners, doing some retreats, that sort of thing. Just having all of these minds collaborating together in pursuit. So yeah, let me know if that's you.